We parted quietly. No scandals, no shouting. It's just that one morning Lisa packed her suitcase and said, "I can't pretend anymore," and left. I left my keys on the table and a rose in a vase. Red, like our first date. I didn't stop her. I thought this was another one of her games. She'd be back in a week, laughing that I was too perfect to quit. But a month later, her number changed, and a guy with a dragon tattoo on his neck appeared on social media. I found the diary by accident. I was rearranging the furniture in the living room and hit an old shelf. A leather-bound notebook fell out. On the cover is her handwriting, only the truth. Lisa ran it for all the 3 years we were together. The first pages are cute nonsense. She recorded me laughing, squinting into the sun, and repeating, "Are you sure?" before each decision. Then the strangeness began. March 12th. He said again that he loved my scent. But I don't wear perfume. Why is he lying? April 3rd. I looked at his phone. In the search, how to hide infidelity. The story has been deleted. Or is it just me? May 19th. He found my pills. He asked me why I needed antidepressants. I lied that it was vitamins. He believed it. Why does he always believe? The pages were getting darker. July 10th. He brought breakfast to bed. I couldn't eat again. He asked if everything was okay. I wanted to scream, and "Oh, you've forgotten how to see me," but she nodded. He hugged me. His hands smelled of someone else's perfume. I didn't recognize myself in these recordings. Did she really think I was cheating? Was I really that blind? Then I read to the last entry. September 15th. It's over. I met him. He knows I'm disappearing. He sees it. I'm going out tonight. If he tries to find me, I'll show him the photos. Let him know what kind of monster he is. Photo. What kind of photos? The pages were torn out further. I searched the whole apartment. I found an envelope in her old suitcase under the double bottom. Inside are pictures that froze the blood. I'm wearing a black jacket, sitting in the park with a girl. I can't see her face, but I put my arm around her shoulders. The date on the back is February 14th. I was on a business trip that day. No, I know I was on a business trip. Another photo. I'm at the entrance at night, holding a bouquet. The house is not ours. There's no face outside the window, but the curtains are the same as Lisa's friends. And one last thing, I'm in a hospital room. On his arm is a bracelet with the name Mark. But my name is Alex. I called her mother. She said that Lisa had been in an accident a month ago. You know, she's in a coma now. My head was spinning. I haven't called her in a month. I didn't notice that she wasn't online. He didn't ask why her dragon had stopped liking her. They wouldn't let me through at the hospital. Relatives only. I said I was her husband. The nurse looked at me like I was crazy. Lisa doesn't have a husband. Her boyfriend is the one with the tattoo. He visits her every day. I broke into the room. Lisa was lying on the bed, wrapped in tubes. A dragon was sitting nearby. "You, how are you doing here?" He jumped up, shielding her. "Who are you?" I grabbed his arm. "I'm her husband." He broke away. "And who are you?" In the pocket of Lisa's robe, I found the same rose from our vase. Dried up. He pushed me out of the room with such force that I crashed into the wall. The nurses screamed and called security. The dragon stood in the doorway, clenching his fists. "If you go near her again, I'll break your face." I ran down the hallway while being chased. He hid in the bathroom, pressed against the tile. His breath whistled like a hunted animal. It was burning in my pocket. I was still clutching that rose. How did she get here? At home, I laid out all the photos on the floor. The picture with Mark in the hospital shows the date, exactly 1 year ago. That day, what was I doing a year ago? Worked. Yes, that's right. Then I was running a project. I was in the office at night. But in the photo, I'm in hospital pajamas, pale, with an .4 in my hand. I called my mom. "Son, are you okay?" "Mom, have I ever been sick?" "Have you been to the hospital?" "Well, I had sore throats as a child, but a year ago." Pause. "You were overworked then. You fell down in the office. They took you for a day. But nothing serious. In the office. So the photo is from there? But why is there a different name on the bracelet? Hack Lisa's email. The password is the date of our acquaintance. The drafts folder contains a letter written on the day of the accident. Dear Mark, if you're reading this, then I couldn't stop you. He's become you again. Please remember, we loved each other. Don't let him erase us again." The screen blurred. Mark. My middle name, which I've hated since childhood. Lisa knew. I went to the clinic where her father, a neurologist, worked. I threatened to tear down the office if he didn't tell the truth. The doctor gave up. You have dissociative disorder. After stress, you're creating a different personality. Alex is your shield. Mark is, what? The person you were before Lisa tried to fix you. He showed the video. I'm on the screen, but with a beard and a scar on my cheek. I scream at Lisa and smash the vase. The date is 1 month before our ideal wedding. She asked me not to show you. She said Alex was better. I threw up on the street. I was sitting on the asphalt and fragments popped up in my head. Lisa hits the wall. Her scream. My hands holding the knife. You're going to ruin everything. But it's not my voice. I went back to the hospital. The dragon was sleeping in the hallway. I entered the room and took Lisa's hand. I'm sorry. I'm Mark. Her finger twitched. The pulse rate increased on the monitor. Her finger twitched again. I froze, waiting for her to open her eyes. But the monitor just beeped, drawing smooth lines. The dragon woke up and burst into the room, but I was already running down the stairs, clutching the printout from the clinic in my pocket. At home, I drank everything I found in the bar. The whiskey burned in his throat, but the voice in his head sounded clearer. Did you think you'd hide behind that name? I am you. The real you, Mark laughed. The next day, I came to our old park, where I was sitting with a stranger in the photo. The bench was empty, but there was graffiti under it, M+L in a heart. Lisa hated graffiti. I was looking for you. A female voice behind me made me turn around. The girl in the photo was wearing a black jacket, her hair hiding her face. Who are you? The voice faltered. You don't remember. We've met, until you became him. She lifted her bangs. The scar above my eyebrow followed the shape of my ring. I don't lie. She clutched at my arm. You disappeared. He stopped responding, and then I saw your photos with her. Wedding smiles. You even took the scar away. She poked my cheek with her finger, where Mark had the scar. I stepped back. Images flashed through her mind. Her apartment screams a broken vase. My hands clutching her throat. I'm sorry, I whispered. Excuse me. She laughed. You ruined my life. And now you're pretending to be a saint? Mark did not apologize. He was enjoying himself. She left, leaving me with a headache and a new fear. How many more are there? In the evening, there was a knock on the door. A detective in a threadbare raincoat stands on the threshold. Alexei Valerievich, do you know this name? He showed me a photo, a man with my face, but wearing glasses with a scar. Signed, Mark. Search under Article 112-inch. No, I lied, but my fingers tightened on the edge of the door. That's strange. The neighbors have identified you. They say you threatened a woman last week. He grinned at me. Or do you have a twin brother? The door slammed shut in a gust of wind. I locked myself in the bathroom and turned on the water to mute the bell. Someone wrote on the mirror with lipstick, I'm back. The water flowed down my hands, washing away the lipstick in blood-pink streaks. The inscription, I'm back, now looked like a wound on the glass. I wiped the mirror with a towel, but the letters came out again. They were scratched on the back. So someone was here. In my apartment, he was here. I searched every room. In the bedroom, under the pillow, I found an old knife with a rusty blade. The initials ML are on the handle. Mark Lissov. My surname. His name. The next day, I went to the registry office archive. The girl behind the counter, seeing my face, paled. You have already been asked. Police. What documents? A marriage certificate. Mark Lissov and... She looked at the screen. Lisa Koval. A chill pierced his chest. Lisa and Mark. They were married. Before me. Before Alex. In the cafe across the street, I was flipping through copies of documents. Their wedding was 5 years ago. Shared bank account. Photos from a vacation in the mountains. All the pictures show me, but with a different expression on my face. Tough. Cold. My phone vibrated. Unknown number. Do you like the trip to the past? The voice was mine, but distorted like in old speakers. You're just a doll, Alex. It's time to get my body back. Leave me alone. I hissed, covering the phone with my palm. Look at the window. I raised my head. Across the street, he was standing in a shop window. My replica is wearing a black leather jacket. He raised his hand, showing me a knife, just like the one I found under my pillow. Then he disappeared into the crowd. I ran after him, knocking over passers-by. He disappeared into an alley. There was a note on the asphalt. clinic. 2200 hours. Come alone, or Lisa will die. In the evening, I took a taxi to the old hospital on the outskirts. The building was abandoned, the windows boarded up. I have a knife and a flashlight in my pocket. The interior smelled of mold and medicines. On the wall in the lobby, there is an inscription in paint. Welcome home, Mark. Here. The voice echoed down the hallway. I entered the operating room. Lisa was lying on the table. No tubes, no monitors. Lively. Her eyes widened in horror. Alex, run. A blow from behind knocked me off my feet. The knife slipped out of his hand. Mark was leaning over me. Did you think you'd hide in your fantasies? He pinned my head to the floor. I've always been here. In every decision you make. In every fear. Lisa screamed. Mark turned to her, and I grabbed him by the throat. We rolled on the floor like two animals tearing at the same skin. The mirror on the wall shattered, reflecting our faces, equally distorted with rage. Suddenly he laughed. You can't kill me. I am you, and I'm the one who's stronger. I grabbed the mirror fragment. Sirens outside. Screams. The doors slammed open. The sirens drowned out our horse howl. Mark pulled away, hitting me in the shoulder with a piece of glass. Blood covered his sleeve, but the pain brought clarity. I saw Lisa crawling towards the exit, dragging a broken four behind her. You'll never win. Mark spat in my direction, disappearing into the dark hallway. I stood up, clutching the wound. The flashing lights of the police flashed through the window. The detective from my nightmare was getting out of a car with a loudspeaker. Mark Lissev, come out with your hands up. He knew. So this is a trap for him, not for me. Lisa was waiting at the back door, her face contorted with fear. Alex, he brought the vaccine. He said she would fix you. What kind of vaccine? I don't know, but I saw the ampoules in his bag. With the clinic's logo, we went down to the basement. The rusty refrigerators hummed like dying animals. On the shelves are boxes labeled Project Mirror. Episode 12-inch. Inside are ampoules with green liquid. Instructions, intramuscularly. Complete suppression of dissociative disorders. It's not a cure, Lisa whispered. It's poison. He kills one of the personalities. Forever. Footsteps sounded from above. Mark. He knew where we were. Run, I said, pushing Lisa toward the air vent. Call for help. No, you can't handle it. I am him, I grinned, grabbing the syringe with the green liquid. Maybe it's for the best. She disappeared into the tunnel when Mark broke down the door. Have you decided to play the hero? He was brandishing a knife. You don't even understand what they've done to you. Who are they? The ones who erased you. He created Sweet Alex to hide Mark's sins, but I won't allow it. He jumped on me. We fell to the concrete. The syringe flew out of my hand. Mark strangled me, his eyes burning with madness. You're a mistake, and mistakes are corrected. I felt the ampoule, smashed it on the floor, and the green liquid splashed into his face. He screamed, letting go of me. What have you done? He scratched at the skin, as if he wanted to rip it off. I stuck the syringe into his neck. The police broke into the basement when his body stopped twitching. The detective picked me up from the floor, his voice strangely soft. Are you Alexei? I looked at Mark's corpse. The police took the body away, but his face was covered with a cloth too quickly. I saw how the contours of the cheeks and chin under the veil slowly changed, becoming alien. The detective led me to the car, his fingers digging into my elbow. For now, at home, I waited for Mark's voice to speak again, but the silence was scarier. I turned on all the lights, checked the locks, and rummaged through Lisa's old boxes. I found a new entry in her diary, written in trembling letters. He came to see me yesterday. He said Alex was a mask, that I fell in love with emptiness. But I saw his eyes. It wasn't Mark. It's someone else. Someone else. The words were spinning in my head like a knife. The next morning, there was a knock on the door. On the threshold is the girl with the photo, the one with the scar. Her name was Katya. Are you alive? She peered into my face, as if searching for Mark's footprints. He came to see me last night. He said you betrayed him. Mark is dead. I tried to close the door, but she put her foot against it. The dead don't leave such gifts. She threw a bundle on the floor. Inside is a bloody knife and a note. Katya is next. I called the detective, but he just chuckled. You said yourself that Mark is you. No body, no business. In the evening, Katya called. Her voice was shaking. He's here. In my house. I hear. The connection was interrupted. I arrived by breaking down the door. The apartment smelled of incense and copper. Katia was lying on the floor, her hands tied behind her back. There's a mirror on the wall, painted with my lipstick. You can't save them all. He made me watch. Katia sobbed as I cut the ropes. He said I had to choose between dying by his hand or yours. It's not him, I whispered, noticing the marks of my fingers on her neck. I broke all the mirrors at home, but I saw his grin in shards. Mark was dead, but someone continued his work. At dawn, I found Lisa at the entrance. She stood wrapped in a shawl, her face paler than snow. He called me, she said, holding out her phone. On the screen is a photo of me in a black jacket. Date, today. I tried to hug her, but she pulled away. No, I saw you yesterday. You followed me. Your eyes. You were happy. I haven't slept in 3 days. The cameras in the apartment, the recordings from the dictaphone, the witnesses, everything pointed to me. But I knew that someone was copying my movements, my style, even my scars. Lisa agreed to help. We set a trap. She publicly quarreled with me in a cafe, shouting that I was a monster. I left, and she waited. He came in the night, in a black jacket with my face. Lisa turned on the hidden camera. I know you're not Alex, she said, trembling. Show me your real face. He laughed, ripping off his wig. The scar turned out to be makeup. The detective's face is underneath it, the one who handled Mark's case. If you kick out one monster, you'll find another, he pointed the gun at Lisa. Mark paid me to cover his business, and now you've inherited his debts. I jumped out from around the corner, but the shot rang out earlier. Lisa fell, clutching her shoulder. The detective turned to me. You'll be the perfect scapegoat. The killer is a psychopath who does not remember his crimes. His words were cut short by a crash. Katia, hiding on the roof, threw a brick. The detective collapsed. The gun slipped out of his hands. We pinned him down while Lisa called the police. Now I'm sitting in this courtroom. On the screen is a video where the detective confesses everything. But the jury looks at me with pity. They see the diagnosis in my eyes. Lisa waves at me from the audience. Her arm is in a cast. Katia brought coffee. They believe. But the world has already decided. I am a mistake of the system. Lawyer's last question. Are you still sure it's not Mark? I look in the mirror at the end of the room. I'm smiling.